Hello everyone, it's Friday night and I'm all cozy in my room with my Saskatchewan Rough Rider onesie. If you haven't guessed, I am from Canada and I originally grew up in Saskatchewan, which is pretty much the middle of nowhere, but it's still a good place to be from, I would say. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction and a review to an album called Dark Skies by a band called Fit for a King. Now, Fit for a King is pretty good. I really loved their Creation and Destruction album. Yep, that's the one. That was put out in 2013. But then I kind of fell off of them, and I haven't listened to them since. So I have not heard this album before, and I had a request to review this album, so I will. And since I have not heard it, you'll get my raw reaction as well. And I'm just gonna go get my coffee, and then we'll get into song one. Okay, I'm back with my coffee. Donut to give up. Words I live by. Okay, so Dark Skies, released in 2018, so it's fairly recent. Here we go. We're gonna start with the first song, of course. And we'll see what it's called. It's called Engraved. Oops. Okay, here we go. YouTube ads. Well, surprising intro from what I remember of Fit for a King. They're pretty heavy. Yeah, I can tell what's coming already though. It's just probably gonna drop. I don't know. It's actually a pretty epic intro so far as it fades in. Bring me a memory! Yeah, I know this band has some good clean vocals. I mean, obviously the screams are good too, but Okay, so that was Engraved. I think the reason that this band is very popular, and I might be wrong here, but I think it's because of their lyrical content. Because it's very deep, quite profound, I would say, and also relatable. So this one begins with this one line, "Make me a memory." And the first question that is asked is, how do I make my life something to remember? Pretty common question, I would say. Oh yeah, and then the next phrase then is, give me a purpose, raise me through the smoke. I'm on my knees, oh God, I'm losing direction. Give me a purpose, show me my place. Man, I think we've all felt that at times, trying to figure out what our purpose in life is. Very common, if not everyone, I would say, probably deals with this on some level. Okay, the Price of Agony. Like that. I think that's good potential for some clean vocals in there. That's what I'm guessing is going to come eventually in the song.
Our world's divided in a race that no one can win. The worst is ignited, all the hate that's burning with.
Knew that was coming. Pretty brutal screams to be expected from this band.
There's a heart that beats for hope. There's a voice that fights for reason. Look around and say it's closer than you think. Are we better? Are we better? No one's voice will speak for me. Every day we're growing colder. Our divide is growing further and further. The hands of time are moving faster, faster. When will
Fade Out. Pretty good song. I like the clean vocals as I usually do with this band. I like their clean vocals. Yeah, the thing I remember about this band is that, in my opinion, sorry, another ad has just popped up. In my opinion, they're a little bit predictable. That's what I just find with these first two songs already. They're very similar. You know, this screaming verses, yeah, clean vocals on the chorus. But then it's kind of like verse, chorus, bridge, back to the chorus or something like that. Nothing really that, as far as like the guitars and the drums, nothing to me that really sticks out particularly yet. That could come, but obviously the lyrics, I like the lyrics of this band probably the most out of anything that they do. So this one seems to be about the typical routine of life and trying to get ahead of other people. So here's the first part of the song. Our world divided, so it talks about division in the world. In a race that no one can win, the worst fears ignited, all the hate that's burning within. Doesn't really tell you a whole lot, but taught to hate anyone that dare stand in our way. There's where we get to the real figuring out what the song's about. And then taught to fight the system that keeps this evil alive and feeds their greed. Are we better? Old machines have told us to be. Are we better? Then I think it is no one's voice will speak for me or something. Yeah, so it seems to me that this song is talking about getting ahead of other people in life and how kind of divisive that is, and it really just divides more than anything. So, that was good lyrically. Nothing really, in my opinion, that was too special musically. We are going to go on to the next song, which is called Backbreaker. This sounds like it could be a heavy song, just like the other two. Here we go. There's so many ads on YouTube. Oh, skipping through ads. There we go.
Light the match, set my body ablaze. There's no one going to fight when your mind is young and glorious. Pressure pushes its way inside. No room to move, nowhere to hide. Can't fight. The strength
This one's so heavy.
the weight of life has pushed me to a living room.
I kind of like it though. It's kind of weird, but I like it.
I don't trust the voice inside of me. Inside of me. I always find myself out there, but it always ends the same. If words are words, then I'm the only one to blame. Backbreaker. Sever on the
That's just so heavy. I do like this one so far.
reach inside and see if I'm living.
Nice.
Light the match, set my body ablaze. There's no more good to fight when your mind is young and glorious. Every good intention turns to dust. Where do your loyalties lie when there's no one to trust?
The drums too on that. Wow.
Sever on the ties, sever on the lies. Backbreaker. Reach inside and see if I'm living. Backbreaker. Sever on the ties, sever on the lies. Backbreaker. Every fear consuming.
Cool. Yeah.
watching. Their eyes are piercing me now. I feel
Interesting.
the pressure. This will be my
Just so low and then so high. It just takes some amount of talent, for sure. Hey. Did this guy actually scream that long? Holy, that I don't know how long that was, but is that actually like legit? I'd love to know if I'd love to have like studio footage of that, because that was a long scream. If that was the case. Okay, that was a good song. Very heavy, which is actually kind of typical for them. That kind of stuff. Yeah, it stands out to me. Stands out from the first two tracks, and I liked it. As far as lyrically, let's see. So, light the match, set my body ablaze. There's nowhere left to hide when your mind is stuck in a cloudy haze. Pressure pushes its way inside, no room to move, nowhere to hide. I can't find the strength within myself. The weight of life has pushed me to a living hell. Endless misery, lack of sympathy. I don't trust the voice inside of me. Woo! So dealing with a lot of inner emotions and not being able to trust the self. First lyrics was light the match, set my body ablaze. Yeah, a very deep sense of, what would it be? Sense of, I don't know. Just sense of pain in living, and like, yeah, it seems like this person is definitely trying to get out of their own mind. I've been there before, to be honest. When you get trapped in your own mind, with certain things that you don't really want to do, and it sucks. And so I can understand that. Set my body ablaze, like, it's kind of like, yeah, just like, I want this to end, in any way possible. Very, very dark, very deep, profound lyrics. That's what I love about metal, is they go into places like that not many other genres go into. And I think it can be a valuable thing, because it makes other people feel that they're not alone. If they're struggling through deep emotions like this, there's other people with them that are experiencing the same things. But I'm going to move on to the next track. Okay, the next track is called Anthem of the Defeated. Yeah, for sure this band deals with a lot of dark emotions. I believe they're a Christian band, though, which is pretty interesting. They're signed with Solid State Records, which is a Christian rock and Christian metal label. Which is kind of my forte. I myself am a Christian, so here we go.
rage. The feeling flows through
dark.
me, pain. It keeps my
Oh,
heart
it's so
beating
edgy and
hopeless. There's no end in sight. If I don't fix my life, I could
Ooh.
die tonight.
Wow, this is weighty.
Disrespected, angry and hurt. I feel the pain. I feel the blood. Hatred, it comes in waves. Tear me apart, then what's left to save? Monster. I see your face when I close my eyes. Monster. I see your
That's a brutally honest song. If I don't fix my life, I could die tonight was obviously the main theme of that song. Again, like this song just before this was called Backbreaker, and it talked about how he doesn't trust the voice that's inside of himself. And this one just takes it even further, like, yeah, if I don't fix my life, I could die tonight. Talking about dealing with hatred. Appears to be talking about, like, being in not feeling valuable. Tear me apart, he says. Tear me apart, and what's left to save? Question mark. Yeah. Wow. The sad thing is that I think this band, I could be mistaken, but I think this band has really grown as far as their audience is concerned. And there are a lot of fans of this band, which tells me that a lot of other people at least a lot of people in the metal genre who like this metal genre are dealing with similar emotions. And that's not really a surprise. That's what draws people to this extreme genre, is that it deals with intense emotions like this, which likely can be relatable to many people. So, good song. It was heavy. It was probably not my favorite. Again, I think Backbreaker was probably my favorite so far. But I think it conveyed the emotion of the song. Okay, When Everything Means Nothing. I'm actually watching the music video for this one. Rainy. Sounds a little bit more like their first two tracks, where they have the clean vocals probably. Yeah, there you go.
Am I supposed to be like everybody?
Nice vocals, actually.
A prisoner of my own mind. Should I give up? Should I give up? I try to smile.
Oh, I like that.
Just say I'm okay. But everything feels like a hurricane. Yeah, I was born in the rain.
What's crazy is that the last two songs were just like crazy screamo. Okay, there you go. Spoke too soon. I like the guitar there. You can hear the harmonic. Heartbreaking lyrics. Wow. Song is very emotional. The video is very emotional as well.
I can't find the help I need. Let this destroy me. Let this destroy me.
Wow. Whew. Yeah. That was Everything When Everything Means Nothing. And I'm like, yeah, just like after watching that music video, it was quite touching. I know that in this genre, it's kind of like, it's not a beautiful sounding genre. It's very sharp, it's very aggressive. But from my experience and the reason I love metal, those breakdowns, particularly where you hear the kind of the chugging and the double bass, in my own experience, that's kind of a way of working through pain, especially because it's like a headbanging part, right? You headbang, and it's just like losing yourself, and just kind of escaping from the pain. It's very aggressive. Yeah, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, that song just was very, it hit me in the heart for sure. The video had to do with, well, one of the lyrics is something about water. Let me just find it here. The water's rising past my eyes, and in the video, this woman is like in the bathtub and just like laying there, and the water's coming up. Yeah, and essentially it's like contemplating suicide, which is a heavy topic, and I know many people who are dealing with things right now that are very difficult, and suicide is a difficult thing, and this band seems to be touching on suicide in this album in general. That's a very vivid picture I'm getting with some of these songs, is dealing with the ideas of suicide. So anyway, I thought that was a great song. Despite its heavy content, both literally heavy, but also the content in the lyrics is heavy. It was a good song, and it actually made me feel a little bit emotional. Okay, now we're going on to a song called Youth/Division, something like that. So it's called Youth/Division.
There's a place in the back of my head. I keep it dark, I know I'm in. And there's a heart somewhere I trust. Is there a beat? Does it exist?
Another heavy song. Heavy lyrically, I should say.
I'm so haunted by who I used to be. A better version that I left behind.
I like the melody in the background with the guitar.
Seeing anger with my open eyes. Bring me back to a time where I didn't tear things down. Bring me back to a life where I wasn't so let down. Am I here to live like I'm broken? Am I here to lose?
Man, these guys, they're hitting me in the heart right now. And I'll explain why after.
I feel a space in the back of my head. I don't feel the same, I just feel ashamed. Every day pounding in my chest like a tidal wave that I can't escape. Bring me back to a time where I didn't tear things down. Bring me back to a life where I wasn't so let down. Am I here to live?
change. That's pretty rare for this type of metal. That was kind of cool. Heavy close of that song. Okay, wasn't my favorite song. Was pretty good lyrically. Again, like hits me in the heart. Like I said, the chorus there with the clean vocals. Am I here to live like I'm broken? I just gotta pause this. There we go. Am I here to live like I'm broken? Am I here to lose my way? Separate me from the sorrow. Give me hope for another day. Oh, man. Yeah, felt that way before. Okay, but then I want to move on to the bridge where they say, I'm fighting back against the poison in my soul. Interesting that they would say that because the idea is that the poison is within himself, right? Within his own soul, which is, I would describe it as original sin. That's something that Christians, many Christians believe exists when Adam and Eve, if you know that story, when they fell into sin, all people that came from them then had this original sin that is within themselves. So we have it too. We have something called original sin, and it causes us to do acts of sin. Whether you believe that or not, I think we can all relate to feeling like we're kind of working against ourselves, if that makes any sense. Things that we want to do, or things that we don't want to do, sometimes we do because we're working against our own, in my opinion, sinful nature. That's what I believe to be true. And how are we going to fight back against that is the question. Well, my answer to that is through Jesus Christ and being baptized into his death and his resurrection. So too we will live forever. Also, the work of the Holy Spirit when we are baptized into Christ is able to work in us. And so there's some miraculous stuff that goes on with that. So that's one thing that metal lacks, in my opinion, and especially with this band being on a Christian label. So far I've heard a lot of questions, a lot of struggling with trying to figure out what the purpose of life is and whether it's even worth living. But very few bands, in fact, almost no bands, actually give an answer to that. And it's good to bring up these ideas to help people understand that they're not alone, but also I think there is an answer to this, and I would say it's Christ and his resurrection, death and resurrection, which enables us to live an eternal life, which trumps any type of purposelessness that we're feeling, any type of pain that we're feeling. Okay, next song. This one's called Shattered Glass. Woo! Already heavy.
I know you're running inside, but no one knows you're hurting. You're searching for light, but
heavy musically, heavy lyrically. Wow.
Again, too late. I see no hope in your eyes. Are you buried alive?
Wow.
I can't stop. My path is set. All I know is violence. All I know is violence.
Man. That's crazy.
I know you're rotting inside, but no one knows you're hurting. You're searching for light, but all you know is burning. Can't find the cure for something no one can see. Can't find the answers when there's no room left to breathe. Tempted, the darkness swallowing. Desperate to feel yourself again. Too late, I see no hope in your eyes. Are you buried alive?
Did not expect that.
I'm a liar, deceiver, it dwells
Wow.
inside. I'm a cynic, I'm desperate to find out why. All the whispers of every last demon aside. If I listen to them, they will take my life. Silence! Can't find the cure for something no one can see. Can't find the cure for something no one can see. It won't stop.
Wow. Again, another very dark song. Yeah. Are you buried alive? I know you're rotting inside and no one knows you're hurting. You're searching for light, but all you know is burning. Can't find the cure for something no one can see. Can't find the answers when there's no room left to breathe. So a lot of pain in this song. One thing I noticed again, he said, I'm a liar, deceiver, it dwells inside. There's that original sin again, that we saw in the previous song. Where was I? Yeah. I'm a cynic. I'm desperate to find out why. All the whispers of every last demon inside. If I listen to them, they will take my life. Again, dealing with death, and I would say, I mean, that sounds like suicide to me. Listening to the voices inside your head, the demon inside your head, and if you listen to them, then they will take your life. Again, I think that's dealing with suicide, which is like, I'm not sure if it must be that someone in this band was dealing with these emotions, because this band or this album is just filled with what I would say is references to suicide and to this kind of pain. Next song. Next song is Tower of Pain. Let's see if I can make it through this album without feeling terrible. Oh, man. Not that... Yeah. Not that this is, like, a terrible thing to do, talk about your emotions and dark feelings, but, like, this whole album seems to be devoted to very dark feelings. So...
Will I rise from the ashes we create? Will I fall into oblivion? When I look up to this tower with the soul that's ripped apart, I see my death before me, and the path is golden.
Trashy. Ooh, kind of like that.
I feel the flames surrounding my heart, watching my soul being tied apart. 26 years.
Yeah, I like the guitars in this one.
Climbing the tower of pain. Fear shouldn't be deciding my fate. My agony shouldn't be endless wait. When my heart no longer beats, what will I say? Will I rise from the ashes we create? Will I fall into oblivion? When I look up to this tower with a soul that's ripped apart, I see my death before me, and the path is cold and dark. I hear the whisper of death in my ear, and listening for thousands of them. 26 years being told I'm a slave, trading desire away. Shouldn't be deciding my fate. My agony shouldn't be endless wait. When my heart no longer beats, what will I say? Will I rise from the ashes we create? Will I fall into oblivion? When I look up to this tower with a soul that's ripped apart, I see my death before me, and the path is cold and
Wow, this is interesting. Lyrically.
closer to faith. Hell shouldn't draw me closer to heaven. Death shouldn't pull me closer to faith. I will climb the tower of
Woo, that was a heavy song. Again, lyrically heavy, dealing with... I mean, it's about a tower of pain. A soul that's ripped apart, I see death before me, and the path is cold and dark. Okay. So, very similar to the other songs, very heavy. But what I found very interesting was the end of the song, where he says, hell shouldn't draw me closer to heaven. Fear shouldn't pull me closer to faith. Okay, And that just struck a chord in me because I'm writing a song currently kind of similar to that idea that basically that how can pain bring something good, because in my own life I have experienced that, how like I went through a painful process, and this will come out in my song eventually when I write it and release it, but I went through a painful process, but it was a good process because it changed me for the better. And so that was really essentially the same idea as what I thought came out of this song, is hell shouldn't draw me closer to heaven, fear shouldn't pull me closer to faith, and yet it kind of does. In a unfortunate way, it does. It changes you for the better. Not always, I will clarify, not always, but sometimes fear is necessary. And I think that that trust is involved with that, because fear brings a trust in something outside of yourself. Okay, that was that song. I actually really like that song too. It's kind of heavy, I just like the end there was interesting. Okay, next song. Oh, what? I'm looking at this next track. It looks, let me just pull it up here. I have two, yeah, there's two titles because I looked it up. It's called Debts of the Soul, but then there's another one that says Depths, Depths, Depths of the Soul. So not sure if those are two different songs. They're both released on the same year, so not sure what that's all about. So, Debts of the Soul. This looks like it'll be a short one. 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Nice intro so far. This is clearly a more reflective style song. It's got that light guitar in the background, and it's very repetitive lyrically. Kind of a meditation song almost, if that makes sense. Oh, this is a rich song. I know what I'm going to talk about when it's done. Oh! I'm just looking at the lyrics. Here we go. Okay. That was it, short one. Okay, so this one says, what I saw that was rich here lyrically. Will you take my burdens? Will you wear my scars? Okay, so this doesn't exactly point to Christ, and yet it does, because if you look at the life of Christ in Scripture, in the Bible, this is exactly what Jesus does. He takes our burdens, that is our sin. He lives the life that we live, and he wears our scars. He actually is crucified on a cross. He's scarred, through his hands, and his side is pierced with a spear, and he has scars from that. So he wears these scars of living a life on the earth, and he carries our burdens. Actually, you might know and you might not, but Jesus says in Matthew, it's recorded in Matthew chapter 11, verse 30, he says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And I just thought of that when I was hearing this. Will you take my burdens? Will you wear my scars? Let me give you some context to that. I'm just pulling it up here. So this is what Jesus says. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. That's not an egg yolk, by the way. That's a yoke that people would put on, like ox or ox, and so it would you'd set them on two of them, and it would connect the two ox, and they would kind of do their thing, to put it crudely or whatever. Anyways, and you will find rest for your souls. And then Jesus says, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So this song, going back to the song, is very clear to me that it is pointing to Jesus. After all this depressing and very emotional lyrics, we get finally to something, in my mind, that holds weight above the pain that we have in this life. It's true gospel, good news, true good news for us, that Jesus takes our burdens and he does wear our scars. Okay, and then the last point here, he says, everything keeps falling apart. I gave my pain to the wind, everything keeps falling apart. And then he says, raise me from the dead. Again, a clear, I think, a clear confession of faith and a clear request from God to remember him and to raise him from the dead in the end. So, anyways, I thought that song was pretty rich lyrically, even though it was short. Okay, last song is called Oblivion, and here we go. Lyrically pretty dark. I'm liking the clean vocals on this one, especially the lyrics. pretty good so far. It's a nice, I like the chorus, probably the best.
Back to you feels so long with so many battles along the way. I brought all of this on myself and I should accept the blame for everyone I've hurt. For all my mistakes, you still look down on me. You show me your face in a way I can see. I look into the sky, I'm crying out your name. I made my mistakes, but you forgave me.
Right there is the gem.
Tell me I won't be forgotten.
That's the gem of this whole album.
It's just for a
And I'll talk about it after.
Tell me I won't be forgotten. It's just for a moment. Will time heal my pain? Send me to the grave. Will I die in vain? Tell me I won't be forgotten. It's just for a moment. Tell me I won't be forgotten. It's just for a moment.
And that is the end. Okay, so clearly, at least it's clear to me that this whole album, every song, I'm just going to take off my headphones, every song has been very dark, very depressing, very heavy. Until we get to this song, it's still a little bit dark, talking about more pain, more struggling, more darkness. But there's a part in the song where this is what the lyrics say. I look into the sky, I'm crying out your name. I made my mistakes, but you forgave me. And he repeats that twice. You forgave me. And that is a critical moment in this album, I would say, because it is the first, thinking right? I think it's the first kind of glimpse of hope that we got in this whole album. Whew. Thank goodness there's something, some glimmer of hope in this album. I would guess that this was the whole, that the artist did this for a reason. And the whole point of the song is tell me, I'll go to the chorus, tell me I will not be forgotten, if just for a moment. That's really what comes out in this song, which made me think of something in Scripture. It's in the Psalms. Psalms are very much like these songs. There's many psalms of lament, which relate, I think, to these songs that we're hearing from Fit for a King. Particularly Psalm 13, if you go to that one, it says, the first verse here, how long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? And I think that really plays into this song, because it's kind of taken another direction. Tell me I won't be forgotten, if just for the moment. And that kind of hints at that forever idea. Will you forget me forever? Just remember me just for a moment, even, in this song. So I think it almost seems like they drew from Psalm 13. And the Psalms are very good places to find these ideas of lament, in the Scriptures at least. And but there's also many Psalms of praise as well that go along with it. And I think now I'm just going to take a look at this whole album, that Fit for a King put out. I think that it's very heavy, very dark, which is good. It's very good to address these things, especially with ideas of suicide. One of the biggest things is to know is that you're not alone in your thoughts, in your feelings. Many of us have these feelings. A lot of people have, especially more and more, I think, these days, a lot of people are dealing with feelings of depression and even more extreme feelings. So you are not alone. I will say that to you. And this album really deals with that. But I will say they do not provide very many answers. They do not provide very much hope in their album. Right at the last song, there might have been another song there too, though, that brought something in. But it's very little hope that is given. Just a lot of pain and all sorts of dark emotions in this album. So that's what I would love to see, and that's what I want to do in my own metal writing. I'm not quite as good as most bands like this in my metal writing, but I want to try and bring some more hope into the metal genre, particularly giving hope through Christ and his death and resurrection, which can be applied to our lives. We get to anyone who believes in Christ gets to live eternally without all of this pain. We are going to be delivered from all of this pain, and that is important to hear, especially in these dark times. So, the album I thought was good. Musically, there were definitely some good points, high points in the album. It's not particularly my favorite band musically, just because I really love melodic metal and a lot of my ears tend to be biased towards the guitars, and so I love a lot of melodic guitars, which you don't get a whole lot. There's a lot of breakdowns more so, which is good too, but it gets a little bit cliche after a while. So not my favorite band musically. Lyrically, I really thought they did well at bringing out the darkness, as I have already said. Overall, let's see. Let me give this album a rating out of 10. I would say 7 out of 10. It's not quite up there at an 8, but definitely 7. The lyrics really bring something out, and there are some good songs musically as well in here, not entirely though. And I'm rambling on, so I'm just gonna end this now. Take care, everyone. God's blessings to you. I hope you enjoyed my reaction and my review to this album. I hope you're not too mad with me giving it a 7 out of 10. For those of you who like this album, there's good reason for liking this album. So until next time, we'll see you later.